Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's Quentin here and welcome to my HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series. And in this tutorial series, we are going to take a look at how to create websites using, well, HTML5 and CSS3. So let me go ahead and answer the question that most people should be wondering right now, which is, what is HTML5 and CSS3? So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and the 5 is simply the latest version. So HTML5 is the language that web browsers understand and interpret when displaying your website. And the name kind of gives away what this does because HTML5 is a markup language. Now, markup simply means that we take all the regular kind of text that you would see on your website, like let's say you're trying to write an article, and we surround that with these special things called tags. And I will explain what tags are in a future video, but for now, just know that if you can read and write in English, or if you can read and write in any kind of language, you can read and write HTML. It is that simple. Then the next thing is CSS3, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet. And the 3 is simply just the latest version of CSS. So the name of this also kind of gives away what it does because it is a style sheet. And what that means is that we use CSS to style the website. Let's say you want to make your text on your website blue, that would be controlled by CSS. If you want to add a background image, then that would also be controlled with CSS. So now that you know what CSS is, let's move on to the next question that most people should be wondering, which is, what do I need to follow along with this tutorial series? So the first thing you're going to need is a good browser. Now, Google Chrome and Firefox and Safari are probably the best out of all of them. Please do not use Internet Explorer or Internet Edge. Both of these kind of have like a track record of not being very reliable. I know Internet Edge is a little bit better, but if it has this little E sign, please don't use it. Okay, so a good browser, again, is something like Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. The next thing you're gonna need is a good text editor. Personally, I use Sublime Text, which is my favorite, and it is the text editor that I will be using in this tutorial series. But if you want to use something like Atom or Notepad++, go ahead and do that. They are relatively good, or they're actually quite good, but please make sure whatever text editor you're using, it has things like syntax highlighting and so on. So don't go ahead and use some simple program like TextEdit or Notepad on Windows. Please don't use those. Okay, then the last thing you're gonna need is some sort of Apache software, and I've outlined MAMP for this because I have tutorials on how to download and install MAMP, and I will be linking to those in the description of this video. But yeah, go ahead, download and install MAMP. It is a server, or it is a program that'll turn your computer into a server so we can simulate a server environment. It's not going to turn your website into a live server that will allow you to display your website to the entire world, but it simulates a server so that the website that you build in this tutorial series will work the same on this server as it does on any kind of Apache Linux hosted server that you might want to use in future. So your homework between this tutorial and the next tutorial is really to go ahead and download a text editor. In my case, like I said, I'm using Sublime, so go ahead and download that. If you want to use the same text editor as me, I will leave a link to this website in the video description. And then you also want to go ahead and download MAMP. Now, I have a video explaining how to download and install MAMP, and I will link to those videos in the description because there is actually one for Windows and one for Mac users. So go ahead and check those videos out, and then you can come back and watch the next tutorial where we are gonna learn how to actually code something. I just want to send a shout out to my sponsors at Dev Mountain. They run a coding bootcamp with courses on iOS development, UX design, and web development. and they can teach you everything you need to know to get a job within this field, and they'll do it within 12 weeks, which I think is a rather impressive timeline. So go ahead and check out their website. The link is in the video description, and if you do contact them, make sure to tell them that I sent you. Hey, thanks for staying until the end of the video. That really means a lot to me. Now, while you're still here, there are a few things that you can do to help. First of all, if you haven't already, subscribe and watch another one of my videos. And if you want to help me make more content more often, or if you feel that my content is just worth paying a little bit of money towards, you can check me out on Patreon. You can also check me out on social media. I will leave the links next to me. So go ahead and click on something, and I'll see you guys next time.